In one of Vietnam's largest financial fraud cases, Truong My Lan, a prominent real estate tycoon, has been sentenced to death for her role in a massive $12.5 billion scam. This shocking verdict underscores the government's determination to crack down on corruption and economic crimes within the country. The 66-year-old Lan, the chair of the real estate company Vietnamese Phat, was accused of orchestrating an elaborate Ponzi scheme that defrauded thousands of investors out of billions of dollars. The prosecution alleged that Lan used fraudulent business practices, falsified documents, and bribery to attract investments into her company's projects, many of which were either non-existent or vastly overvalued. The sheer scale of the fraud perpetrated by Truong My Lan is staggering. The $12.5 billion figure represents nearly 3% of Vietnam's entire gross domestic product, GDP, in 2022, making it the largest financial fraud case in the country's history. To put this into perspective, the amount involved is greater than the GDP of several small nations. Lan's modus operandi involved selling off-plan properties, a common practice in Vietnam's real estate market, where developers pre-sell units in projects that are yet to be built. However, instead of using the funds raised to finance the construction, Lan allegedly diverted the money into her personal accounts and used it to maintain an extravagant lifestyle, as well as to fund other dubious business ventures. The unraveling of Lan's vast financial empire began in 2018 when disgruntled investors, who had not received their promised returns or properties, began to file complaints with the authorities. As the investigations deepened, it became clear that Lan's company, Vietnamese Phat, was nothing more than an elaborate house of cards, sustained by a constant influx of new investments and the illusion of success. Prosecutors painted a picture of a well-orchestrated scheme, with Lan allegedly using her connections and influence to evade scrutiny and continue her fraudulent activities. They claimed that she bribed government officials, forged documents, and employed various tactics to keep the scam running for years, duping investors with promises of high returns and luxurious properties. Lan's trial, which began in April 2024, was a highly publicized event in Vietnam, with the proceedings being closely watched by the public and the media. The courtroom was packed with investors who had fallen victim to Lan's schemes, many of whom had lost their life savings. During the trial, prosecutors presented a mountain of evidence against Lan, including financial records, witness testimonies, and documentation purportedly showing her involvement in bribery and forgery. The defense team, however, maintained that Lan was a legitimate businesswoman who had been caught up in a series of unfortunate events and bad investments. In the end, the court found Lan guilty on multiple counts of fraud, embezzlement, and bribery. Given the gravity of the offenses and the massive scale of the financial losses involved, the judge handed down the ultimate punishment, the death sentence. The verdict against Truong My Lan has sent shockwaves through Vietnam's business community and society at large. While the death penalty for economic crimes is not unprecedented in the country, the severity of the punishment in this case has been seen as a strong message from the government about its stance on corruption and financial misconduct. Supporters of the verdict argue that it serves as a deterrent against future instances of large-scale fraud and may help restore investor confidence in Vietnam's real estate and financial markets. However, critics have raised concerns about the fairness of the trial and the appropriateness of the death penalty for economic crimes. As Truong My Lan awaits her fate, her case has become a cautionary tale of greed, deception, and the consequences of unchecked ambition. The fallout from her actions has been far-reaching, with thousands of investors losing their hard-earned savings and the reputation of Vietnam's real estate industry suffering a significant blow. In the aftermath of the scandal, authorities have vowed to tighten regulations and enhance transparency in the real estate sector. Several high-profile investigations into other suspected fraudulent activities have been launched, indicating a broader crackdown on financial crimes in the country. For the victims of Lan schemes, the verdict has provided a sense of justice, albeit a bitter one. Many have expressed relief that the perpetrator has been held accountable, but the financial losses they have suffered will likely take years, if not decades, to recover from.